Over some more serial experiments Lain. Are we good to go? I believe so. Are we? We certainly are. So, we actually have agreed to actually cover some more serial experiments Lain on this stream program episodes 3 and 4. And yeah, I must say, this show is very interesting. It's very interesting. It's kind of both a time capsule of a world just going into a society that we know today, and also kind of a telling sign to actually some things that we had anxieties for back then still exist to this day. It do be scary though. So let's put on Twitter actually gone live. I always, for some reason, I just play Control S instead of Control C. Don't ask me why. I always will do that. Right, so let's put that there, let's put that there. And let's get this show on the road. I do believe with that we actually are good to go. We certainly are. So let's get this show on the road. So start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. But yeah, it's a very telling show actually how the world of the wide actually was viewed back then. Because again, it's one of those things that we understand in our own kind of hello. We understand our own kind of like our own society that stuff, if there was a problem, would be fixed. Like if say an issue with the internet arised, there would probably be some sort of fix that could actually combat it. Granted, sometimes at 9 out of 10 times there isn't, but slim chance actually doesn't really happen. Hello, how's it going? But this show, it kind of tells you from the get-go, there's a lot more to it, essentially. Like, in essence, there's a lot more anxieties, a lot more fears, because they haven't experienced everything just yet. They're not like us who experienced the whole entirety of most of the internet at this point. They're going into what we know today, essentially. So, like, experiencing it through the lens of someone who would otherwise be like us today is very kind of interesting as well. I'm so glad. I'm so glad actually could be he actually can be here as well. That actually means a lot. So yeah, I kind of find that to be endlessly fascinating. I've always kind of liked this genre of like media, especially with the 50s and actually what they didn't know was gonna happen. Stuff like that was kind of like interested me because we've experienced it, we've lived it essentially. Actually, kind of see how society viewed that stuff back then is always endlessly fascinating to me. Don't know why. So I kind of did a whole entire like 2 projects on like the 1950s and paranoia cinema because it's just so goddamn interesting. The same thing with this as well. This is kind of like this is kind of classified as more like paranoia in a way, I guess. Oh. I do like how the intro screens are like a Suda 5-1 game though. It reminds me of how a Suda 5-1 game starts. There is the perspective actually how they do a lot of the things in this anime is actually quite interesting as well because the characters seem very small in comparison to the actual world itself. Which I guess might be what it's trying to go for as well. Because every single shot feels claustrophobic, in a way, or it feels way too far away. It's a really clever way to do everything, because it's kind of telling you there and then the kind of mood it's trying to go for. I actually kind of like it. Every single damn stream is always a police car going past. Hey, reverse dolly zoom. Very kind of cool. Very cool. It's a massive tower of PC though when you think about it. Like, goddamn. I think the actual like the bear thing is actually like a scenario. It's like a scenario. It's I'm kind of going for it being like a metaphorical meaning in a way. Like it kind of has more of a meaning essentially. Possibly it's the comfort as well, because bears always provide comfort. Essentially, it's kind of telling because Lain's always kind of like in certain ways pretends to be alone. There's actually kind of proof of it. There's actually literally no one in this house. She's alone, and the only thing that's actually there is the bear. That's one meaning. That's kind of it. It kind of goes for, but I also kind of imagine it's the idea of like possibly the her like retaining like a more childlike kind of persona, going into a world it's actually kind of a lot more not so childlike in a way, I guess, as well. Uh oh. What do you do if your PC starts talking to you? What do you do? Can't throw that PC out the window. It actually end up causing like a massive like hole in the ground. It's just that goddamn heavy and probably powerful. Yeah, and it would still work. It would be like legit, just pieces of PC, but it would still turn on. Because PCs were built to last in those days. It does feel a lot like Evangelion, actually, to be honest. I actually really want to watch Evangelion now. For the 50th time. Well, that's kind of ominous. Yeah, and possibly kind of going for the idea that the bears probably mean like the innocence in a way, because it's kind of true, because yesterday was kind of like her stepping into a world she doesn't really know. The same thing applies with the internet itself as well. The bears represent the actual kind of the her retaining that in a way. With the bear onesie kind of actually represents her trying to keep that alive, even when she actually is trying to, like, even when she's actually going away from the whole entire world. Is it? I don't. My voice isn't that deep in comparison. So I was gonna say, I was thinking that. I was like, they're pretty damn calm for what happened yesterday. Lain just like, bro, what happened last? Everyone else is like, doesn't matter. Everyone else is just kind of just sitting there vibing. Oh. And that's how you end the scene. And that's how you actually end the scene. And there we go. That's our answer, I guess. I guess answer in inverted commas. No. So, by the way, I think it's actually talking to me. Should I be worried? Hmm. So I don't click on links on Twitch. Was becoming a bit more distorted in the show, though. So I'm guessing it is kind of going for the whole entire idea, because it's kind of like because I do explain at the beginning of the episode about the idea of like the idea of the Lain of the wide world. So I'm guessing it's possibly what it's trying to imply. Bro, it's happening. So it's going places now. Even though it was going places since episode 1 of like the first minute of episode 1, but it's going places now. That's for damn sure. well. Bro, it's the dudes. It's the dudes. Mood. Just, what the hell? Yeah. They are scary dudes. Lain just taking apart a PC. Not too sure how that works, but I guess. Bruh, it hinting at things. It do be saying things. Well, I mean, the clear distinction is that there's the Lain that we know. It's also the wide or the wild, I guess, Lain essentially, which kind of I guess correlates to the concept of why you kind of always I guess it's why you always hear things as well, possibly. Possibly that maybe the yeah, it's actually kind of it's confusing to explain, but for what? Yeah, actually it did go by really fast, but from what I can gather, essentially, which is very minimal at this point, what I gathered was there's possibly like a distinction between both lanes. Essentially, the lane that we know, the lane we're seeing here is the one who's always alone, the one who wants to escape, and the wild lane is on with actually is told by everyone else, and it's kind of obvious, I guess, in a way, but possibly there's more as time goes on, especially when it comes to who Lain truly is, because again, we're literally learning as, I guess, Lain learns herself, but at the same time she knows already, so there's that distinction as well. But it's a very interesting show. Don't get me wrong, it's a very kind of like kind of show. You're always constantly on your toes all the time. It's not one moment you're kind of like, okay, I know what's going on here. Because it will just kind of just go, no, bro. And you're like, oh. Oh shit, it goes to the next episode. It goes into the next one. I thought it just, I said play episode 3, not play all. But anyway, we'll have a quick 5-second break, and actually we'll carry on. But yeah, it's a very it's a complex show. It's a complex show for a lot of reasons. It's not just the reason of, oh yeah, by the way, this is just it's just one thing. It's not just one thing, but it's I think he is, if I remember correctly. I think he actually is voiced by Joji Nakata, actually, if I remember correctly. I believe he actually does appear in the show. I will take a quick look. Serial experiments Lain. If Mal's not dead. Mal's still down. I can't check. God damn it. Possibly. What I'm kind of gathering is, like, yeah, as you said, there's multiple lanes, which kind of sounds like talking about lanes, and which guess also kind of does make sense. But yeah, it's one of those things. I kind of guessing there's like multiple lanes. And there's lane that we know on the outside, and the lane we don't actually know just yet, but are told who this lane actually is. Essentially, there's multiple of her, I guess. But anyway, put on Twitter. So we're watching episode 4. So who actually wants to come in and actually carry on? Right, let's actually carry on. So let's actually start this thing once again, in 3, 2, 1. So start this thing absolutely now. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's not so clear cut right now because again, we don't really necessarily know anything. The only thing we know is what we've been told, and then what we've been told can very mean like multiple different things. I believe the actual opening hints at it as well, because there's a lot of lanes inside like TVs and computers as well, so there could in theory be a hint. I know, but I like how this show doesn't necessarily tell you anything. It allows you to piece it together yourself. It doesn't actually treat you like, oh yeah, by the way, this is everything you need to know. This is the whole entire thing. It tells you the bare minimum, and it kind of gets by doing that because it actually tells you then everything else just for the use of like color, for the use of visuals, for the use of body language as well. And it's actually kind of nicer in a way. The OP is iconic. It's one of the most iconic OPs of all time. I love it so much. I think even if you haven't watched the show, you know the OP, and I think you know the OP essentially. It's like Evangelion. Everyone knows the Evangelion opening. Even if you never watched Evangelion, you know the opening. It's Ava, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Lain. I guess Hunter as well. Gintama to an extent as well. There's loads of them that you know even without actually watching the show. Bakuno as well. Actually, I need to rewatch Bakuno at some point. It's been years since I actually watched Bakuno. I'm pretty damn sure the 5-1 games actually does start like that, if I remember correctly. Is it the silver case? Pokemon, it's another one everyone knows as well. Digimon as well. Cowboy Bebop. Oh yes, the OG way of calling your PC. When in doubt, just get a fan. It's weird to think that your iPhone has more power than that whole entire PC nowadays. I guess Dad has just accepted the whole entire thing. He's just like, yeah, all right. Is it though? Is it though? Apparently she can. I can barely do it. I could barely disassemble, reassemble a PC. It's one of those concepts that once you've done it once, you can do it like about multiple billions of times at that point, because it actually doesn't really change that much. Essentially, a PC. You can actually, if you build one PC, you can build like 20 of them at that point. I'm still pretty rusty at it, but I got a firm understanding of actually how to do it. Barely, but I could probably do it. Point. That's a good point. We had that as well. We didn't have butterfly in the UK. We had the opening. It was Digimon the whole entire time. That was our opening. I think everyone had the exact same one in the West. We didn't have butterfly, sadly, which was the better opening. Lain just kind of like, bro, I build PCs now. Oh, you have butterfly in Germany. God damn it! I would have loved for having butterfly over here. She better put some RGB in there. Love how she's kind of like, this is worrying. Should we be worried? I'm worried. This isn't good. Were Pentiums around at that point in time? Was Pentiums around in 2000s? I can't even remember this point. Was Pentiums around in the 1998? Or was it later, the Pentiums? I was gonna say she's probably gonna like take out her Pentium 3 and put Pentium 4 in there and upgrade the RAM a little bit. And get like a full-blown like gaming PC. Okay, but what happened to that dude before, though? What happened to him? Why was she being like, gotcha, and then boy scream? But why, though? Oh, I see. Yeah, we basically just had the one that just goes Digimon constantly as our opening. Same thing with Dragon Ball Z as well. We had Rock the Dragon over here. That was our opening. Very iconic as well. I must say, let's just do Bill in that household. Jesus Christ Almighty. We didn't have that. We had Rock the Dragon over here for Dragon Ball Z, I believe until I believe until the very end. Actually, it didn't change. I didn't think. Bruh. Oh shit! It's the Windows 95 screensaver. It's the maze. That's how old I am. God damn, I remember that. Oh shit! It's Lain. Don't you just hate it when the Windows 95 screensaver tries to attack you? Don't you just hate it? I think we only had one over here for Dragon Ball Z. I think pretty much every single opening changed over here. Minecraft. I can't believe Lain made Minecraft. It's like Doom a little bit as well, to be honest. Man, I want to play Doom. A little bit like Existence. Has anyone even seen that film? Existence with Jude Law? David Cronenberg movie, I think. Bruh? Why do I feel like it's going to end really badly? Lain is just on a different plane of existence at this point. She's vibing somewhere else. Bro, it's what you don't do. It's rule number one. Don't go to legal sites and download anything. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows you do not download Linkin Park in the end .exe. Everyone knows that. The wrong thing to do. Telling signs, boys. Telling signs. Vibe check. She's about to Neil Breen herself into the internet. How is he just kind of like, all right? He's pretty calm about, just by the way, Dad, I'm gonna upload myself to the goddamn internet, just nonchalantly. His dead ass. And he's just kind of like, all right, and just walks out. He's out of there. No questions. He's just like, girl, do not confuse like the real world and the internet world, okay? It's like not a good thing to do. And she's like, bro, get out. Don't you listen to this shit? And then he's like, all right. Alright. And leaves. Lain just kind of like, you don't need a computer if you actually become one. It's like, boom. That's like 9,000 IQ move. Uh-oh. It's those dudes. I love how she's like, I love how she's just like, what the hell, man? No other reaction besides, what the hell, man? What are you doing out there? Bruh. I'm not too sure that fam actually do that much thermals when it comes to cooling your PC. Damn sure that computer would have thermal throttled by now. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, once again, a very interesting episode. It was it's a lot to take in. Like it's not a very it's not a very, you know what, let's just leave it as that and kind of carry on episode. It kind of doesn't really tell you a lot and actually possibly what's actually truly going on here. As well, and actually who Lain actually is. As well, which I guess she's kind of like a, I guess in a way she kind of, I guess the whole entire thing with her intervening with the kid with the game was that she kind of, I guess in a way, possibly save him from what was going on there. It did kind of seem like that because there's clearly an idea that she has to kind of fix a lot of what's going on here because it, oh boy, it wasn't going so well, which I'm guessing is kind of giving rise to the idea that the actual like other side of the whole entire like corner of the internet actually is kind of festering now at this point. The idea of like the illegal side of it, which is actually kind of like that whole entire thing with the game itself, actually how it was kind of linked to somewhere else, but also then you have the whole entire idea with the girl and the guy at the beginning of the episode as well, which is kind of like that's something else as well entirely. That's actually kind of like a little bit more going on. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because instead of actually kind of just instead of actually kind of just joining the internet, she's kind of become like a vessel of hope in a way. But I might actually, before this whole entire thing actually starts, I actually might just go back slightly. I want to actually just check something over before I actually start saying anything. Right. Is it around here? That around here. I want to actually quickly discover something before I actually just do a conclusive thoughts on it. God, the allergies are actually really affecting me today. I still love the dad just kind of like, okay, alright. Whatever you say, and just walks out. It's kind of great. look up this scene just very quickly. So this actually kind of seemed like she's actually like a vessel for possible like hope in a way, but also right, cool, that's fine. That's what I need to actually kind of check. Did I just press something accidentally? But yeah, on topic with the whole entire thing. Let's actually press record. What did I press record for? On topic with the whole entire thing. My nose is really itchy today. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting show that kind of has a lot going on. It's not a show that's very clear cut. Like, it's got a lot kind of going on behind closed doors as well. The whole entire idea of like Lain kind of changing completely. As we said before, in episode 1 and 2, she kind of retained the like the bear onesie and all the bears around her as well. She kind of retains that level of innocence, a level of childlike wonder she actually didn't really have. And now she actually has in theory become one with the whole entire thing with Wired. She's actually kind of just forgotten about the whole entire idea. Like, she's changing completely. Like, in essence, her clothes have changed. The way she actually talks has changed. The way that she actually reacts to certain things has changed as well. Like, in essence, she isn't the person she was beforehand. Which I'm guessing is kind of hinting this whole entire idea of what the internet actually does in theory do to someone. Which actually is kind of true. It's the idea of actually, is that we've seen it. We've seen how the internet can in theory shape personalities to the point that actually aren't the same person they were beforehand. So we're seeing that through the lens of Lain herself, a person who was very much kind of an ordinary girl, who's now kind of just become one with the Wired in a way. Also possibly as well becoming like a vessel for like intervening, that she kind of possibly fixing certain things, especially with what was going on there. Granted, it didn't really seem as if a lot of things were fixed, but it was actually one of those things that possibly that could really be a hint towards what she's actually doing. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting show, because the whole entire angle they're going with the idea of like the game decepting with another game as well actually is kind of very interesting, because we've seen that beforehand. The idea of actually how certainly sometimes things actually can in theory kind of change if you kind of don't get it from the right place, and it's kind of true actually how he went somewhere illegal, downloaded it, and actually kind of then played it, and actually that's what happened. It's telling you there and then, like, the ideas of the fears of the internet, the ideas of where if you go somewhere it's actually not legit, what can actually in theory happen. And it's stuff that still does in theory prevail to this day, because we don't necessarily know fully where everything comes from on the web, do we? We don't really know it necessarily everything that we actually are getting is kind of completely legit. So actually kind of a show that actually explores that, actually kind of has a show that does like real life consequences, the whole entire idea is very interesting. Because it's a thing that, especially in the era the show was actually in, especially then in the 2000s, your very early 2000s, because we had stuff like LimeWire, stuff like uTorrent and stuff like that, all that was kind of very, very much prevailing in the actual world. And that was something that actually was kind of a force for change as well. The idea of actually that caused so much stir in the actual industries that they actually had to kind of stop it. And in that, you didn't know what you were downloading, because a lot of it was peer-to-peer, if I remember correctly. So what you were downloading came from someone else, so they actually could in theory have an infection on their own computer, which actually then went to yours, and then vice versa, and actually then it kind of just spread. The same thing is kind of like, it's almost hinting here as well, the idea of actually where you go to actually get things can in theory actually have consequences, especially in the real world, and actually is kind of telling that this actually is a kind of a fear of the web. And then the whole entire thing with Lain at the end of the episode as well, actually how she's almost kind of like there's two of her now, but the two of her actually kind of meshing into one now. It's kind of maybe that she will in free kind of go on a kind of, I guess, a crusade, actually kind of save the internet in a way. I guess possibly not, but it's actually kind of a thought in a way. But yeah, we also kind of get the hinting of who the Knights are as well, because again, the knights almost represent someone you would actually otherwise something actually otherwise associate with this kind of idea as well. How stuff like this actually were kind of prevailing in the 2000s as well. The idea of actually people joining things like cults and stuff like that. I believe Silvercase did that as well. The Silvercase had the entire quest on the internet. And Silvercase also had to do with a cult as well. It was a cult of Kamui on the internet. Yeah, it was actually. So I'm guessing, for what this actually kind of tells me, this actually was a prevailing idea in the 90s, especially at the end of it, especially on the internet. Because I don't really know much about the 90s internet itself, because I was more the 2000s, but I'm guessing it's hinting this idea that possibly the internet is a scary place that actually doesn't fully have these cults that actually can fully join. Even though they don't exist, they actually do fully still exist to some degree. And that itself is very fascinating. I'm guessing it still kind of exists to this day as well. I'm not too sure. You don't really hear too much about them, at least not now. Beforehand, you used to hear a lot about them. Like, there used to be a lot back in the 2000s and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's kind of, I don't really hear too much about it. But yeah, I really overall, this show is just really goddamn cool. I really do like this show. This show is really fun to watch because it's actually kind of it's a time capsule, but also, once again, as I said beforehand, a telling sign of the fears we still have to this day. And for that reason, I can't get enough of it. Actually, it just draws you in. Actually, kind of doesn't let you go, even though you don't really know much of what's going on from a very first-hand experience. Once you kind of look into it, you actually kind of do get a better idea. But from the actual kind of outset, it's very much more of a complicated show. But it still draws you in. Actually, kind of doesn't let you go. You actually can't stop watching. So yeah, tomorrow we'll continue watching this show. Actually, kind of, I guess, get half it done by tomorrow. So yeah, anyway, we'll end as always the stream off in Japanese. If my nose doesn't die partway through the actual sentence. Let's have a look. So,ご視聴ありがとうございます。僕の動画を面白いと思ったら、いいねやチャンネル登録をお願いします。So yeah, I mean, we'll do episode 5 and 6 tomorrow, and actually, I'm guessing we'll probably get episodes 1 to 9 done by the time the new season starts. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on Twitch, then do leave a follow on Twitch, because indeed does something quite a bit. If you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a like, because indeed does something quite a bit. If you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a sub, because indeed does something quite a bit. If you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a follow on Twitter, or join the Discord as well, because both do help me quite a lot, and both of them tell you when these streams go live and any other streams I do as well. But next time, some more Serial Experiments Lain. See you guys later. Bye for now.